The Haunting of Willowside Asylum. The moon cast an eerie pallor over the decrepit asylum as Jesse, a seasoned paranormal investigator with a taste for danger, stepped cautiously through the rusted gates. He'd spent years researching this forsaken place, hearing whispers of unspeakable horrors that lurked within its dilapidated walls. Now, with his heart pounding like a drum, he had finally arrived at the haunted asylum that had been his dream location for years. The asylum, known as Willowside, had been abandoned for decades, its history shrouded in darkness. Patients had once suffered unspeakable torment within its walls, and it was rumored that the souls of the damned still roamed its corridors. Jesse had always been drawn to such places, seeking answers to the unexplained, and Willowside was the ultimate challenge. His footsteps echoed as he entered the main building, his flashlight casting long, creepy shadows on the cracked, decaying walls. The air was thick with the scent of decay and despair. Broken furniture and shattered glass littered the floors, a haunting reminder of the asylum's gruesome past. As Jesse ventured deeper into the asylum, his heart raced with anticipation. He couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease, as if unseen eyes watched his every move. The temperature dropped, and he could see his breath in the frigid air. He muttered an incantation to protect himself from malevolent spirits, but it offered little comfort. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, echoing through the corridors like a banshee's wail. Jesse's heart leaped into his throat, and he spun around, scanning the darkness for the source of the horrifying sound. But there was nothing, only the suffocating silence that seemed to press in on him from all sides. As he continued his exploration, Jesse couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. He reached the basement where the most sinister stories were said to have unfolded. The air was heavy with an otherworldly chill, and his flashlight flickered ominously. It was then that he noticed the flickering of a lone candle in the distance, a faint, beckoning light. With trembling hands, he followed the eerie glow, his footsteps echoing louder with each step. The flickering candle led him to a narrow passage hidden behind a wall, a passage he hadn't noticed before. He hesitated but couldn't resist the pull, his curiosity overpowering his fear. The passage seemed to go on forever, winding deeper and deeper into the bowels of the asylum. The walls were covered in strange, arcane symbols, and the air grew colder with each passing moment. Jesse's heart pounded in his chest as he descended further into the abyss. Finally, he reached a chamber that sent shivers down his spine. It was a vast underground chamber adorned with countless candles, casting eerie, flickering shadows on the walls. In the center of the chamber stood an ancient, weathered tome, bound in leather and adorned with human bones. Jesse recognized it as a grimoire of dark magic, a relic of unspeakable evil. Jesse struggled to understand how this was hidden in a hospital for all of those years. But what truly chilled him to the bone were the ghostly figures that surrounded the grimoire, their pale, twisted faces contorted in agony. They were the tormented souls of Willowside, trapped for all eternity. They moaned and whispered, their voices full of despair. Jesse knew he needed to leave, but his legs refused to obey him. As he gazed at the grimoire, he felt an irresistible urge to touch it. He reached out, his fingertips brushing the cursed pages. The moment his skin made contact, a surge of malevolent energy coursed through him, sending waves of excruciating pain and terror. The last thing Jesse saw before darkness consumed him were the ghostly figures closing in, their skeletal hands reaching for him. Days turned into weeks, and Jesse's disappearance remained a mystery. His friends and fellow investigators scoured the asylum, but there was no trace of him. Some believed he had fallen victim to the same horrors that had plagued Willowside's past, while others thought he had become one of the tormented souls that now haunted its cursed halls. But the truth was far more chilling. Jesse had become a vessel for the malevolent spirits that dwelled within the asylum, forever trapped in a nightmarish realm of darkness and despair. His longing for the unknown had led him to a fate worse than death, a fate he had sought to uncover but had ultimately become a part of. Willowside had claimed another victim, and the haunted asylum's secrets would remain buried in the darkness, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold.